I've always been a big fan of the Miata. The time-tested formula of a lightweight, front-engine, rear-wheel drive combo is undeniable and made this car fundamentally great from the start. But its success was no accident. Mazda worked hard to sweat the details, and they were happy to show them off, as seen in this old series of magazine ads. Mazda also did a masterful job of summoning just the right amount of inspiration from the British roadsters of the 60s and mixing that with modern technology. Mazda recently celebrated the 25th anniversary of the Miata, and they estimate that around 1 million Miatas have been sold globally, making it the best-selling two-seater sports car on Earth. From a car that was simply designed to evoke passion and make drivers smile, it has earned the status of an automotive icon. While it's still a car that's often chided for its not-so-masculine demeanor, the Miata's popularity and racing heritage are impressive and undeniable. After all these years, the Miata is still an extremely popular platform for enthusiasts and racers alike. The recent introduction of the impressive 4th-generation Miata proves that Mazda intends to keep the winning formula that has made this car successful fully intact. Most of you probably remember my first Miata that I picked up back in 2007. I really loved this car, which was dubbed Sunflower by some old coworkers of mine. Well, this cute little Sunflower had a few big surprises under its yellow hood. I fabbed up a custom turbo setup and controlled it all with a 4G63 ECU. This combo delivered a stout 252 rear-wheel horsepower and a nice flat torque curve. Although this car was great fun, I sadly sold it in 2012 for this. Yep, I sold my fast, cool sports car for a minivan. Being a family guy, I wouldn't trade my minivan for anything. But all along, I'd hoped to own another, newer Miata again someday. Well, that day has come. This is my new 2004 Mazdaspeed Miata. If you're not familiar with it, this little factory turbocharged hot rod was a fitting end to the long run of the second generation NB body style that spanned from 1999 to 2005. It's loaded with factory performance upgrades that make it a great car that performs well right out of the box. It was also a great bargain back then, as the turbo engine, 6-speed transmission, suspension upgrades, and other good stuff only commanded $827 additional compared to a similarly equipped LS trim Miata. Speaking of performance, in stock form, Car and Driver recorded a 0 to 60 mph time of 6.7 seconds onto a quarter-mile time of 15.2 seconds. These numbers won't set your hair on fire, but the Mazdaspeed was over a second faster than a base Miata in both tests, and the increased power made the car much more entertaining. My Mazdaspeed is the Grand Touring trim in the handsome titanium gray metallic color. Over the 2-year production run, they could also be had in Velocity Red, Lava Orange, and Black Mica. While this car is mostly stock on the outside, keen-eyed Miata fans will immediately notice that the factory 17-inch Racing Heart wheels have been replaced by the previous owner with a 16-inch factory Miata wheel for a nice little weight reduction and different look. The stance and suspension is all stock, utilizing the factory Mazdaspeed upgrades that include a shock tower brace, an optimized steering rack, Bilstein shock absorbers with firmer tuning, larger front and rear stabilizer bars, and higher rate springs. This car also features a hardtop, which is a must-have accessory in my opinion. Other than those two differences, all of the factory Mazdaspeed tweaks remain, like the unique front and rear air dams, rear spoiler, smoked headlight housings with body color covers, and this cool rear view mirror emblazoned with the Mazdaspeed logo. On the inside, the look is unmistakably Miata, but with a few custom touches that improve the overall feel. Mazdaspeed sill plates, leather seats with suede inserts, a leather-wrapped steering wheel, a splash of red stitching, silver accents on the dash, a 225-watt Bose sound system, and silver Mazdaspeed gauge faces make this an inviting place to spend time. While all of those other custom factory touches are pretty cool, here's the real star of the show. A 1.8-liter dual overhead cam turbocharged and intercooled 16-valve 4-cylinder engine. This stout little mill inhales 7.5 pounds of boost to produce 178 horsepower and 166 foot-pounds of torque. This was a great, reliable little engine, and a well-thought-out combo too, as Mazda went as far as increasing the size of the water and oil coolers to accommodate the additional power, and even shot-peened the gears in the transmission to improve strength. But as with any factory car, there was room for improvement, and the previous owner made a host of small but important modifications to address a few factory shortcomings. A steel inlet pipe, a stronger blow-off valve, a boost controller, and a remote oil filter team up to improve things under hood. There's also a racing beat muffler, which adds a little power bump and a much-needed growl to the turbo engine's exhaust note. Okay, enough talking about the car. Let's go for a ride. Alright folks, here we are. I'm behind the wheel of my brand new to me 2004 Mazdaspeed Miata. Now it's been almost 2 years to the day that I sold my old 1992 turbocharged Miata Sunflower, and I've missed that car dearly ever since. I think what I've realized is that nothing delivers the driving experience that a Miata does. I mean, it's just something you don't understand unless you've driven one. You know, some folks will poke fun at the looks or whatever, at the image of the Miata, but there's just nothing like it from behind the wheel. I mean, the shifter, it just snick between the gears, feels so good. The wheel, the steering, I mean, oh, just cutting through these mountain roads, the steering feels so good. I mean, it just feels like you're in the perfect spot in the car, like you're part of the chassis. It's so perfect. I just can't even describe it any better than that. You just have to drive one to understand. Comparing this 2004 Miata to my old 1992, it's a much different driving experience. First of all, the interior, I mean, it just feels a lot nicer in here. This one has a much smoother and more linear power band. It's not making as much power as my old Miata did, but this one, it's much more predictable. As you're going through a turn, you know, it's not as hairy as my old Miata was. It would want to turn you around in a heartbeat when that turbo kicked in. This is much more predictable and enjoyable, really. The reason I sold my old turbo Miata was that I wanted a newer body style. This 99 to 2005 always appealed to me. I just like the curves, I just think it's a really clean look. And the Mazdaspeed has a few exterior touches that I think really makes it special. So in the titanium gray color, I think it's just perfect. It's my favorite of all the Miatas. I don't think anything goes better together than these mountain roads here in Tennessee and a Mazda Miata. I mean, it's like they were made for one another. Oh, here we go. Coming in hot, people. Coming in hot. Oh, look out. Oh man, you cannot have fun like this in many cars. Woo! Hold on, dial it back. Folks, this is what a Miata is all about. Having the time of your life, holding on for dear life, banging the gears, testing out those brakes. I gotta tell you, the speed really sneaks up on you in this car. I just looked down and I was going over 70 miles per hour through that turn. My mom is gonna be so disappointed. Sorry, Mom. This was the most powerful, the first and second generation Miatas, but you know, it's not the fastest thing on the road. I mean, as you get into it here, I'm still kind of... Alright, here we go. Now we're doing something. Now it's happening.
You know, there's nothing like a roadster. Front engine, rear-wheel drive, manual transmission, great steering, great brakes, grippy tires, a little power under the hood. What a great equation for a fantastic car. You know, as good as this car is, I think I'll just leave it alone. Yeah, I'm not gonna do anything to it. Did I get you?
So what does the future hold for this car? I'm afraid you'll have to stay tuned to find out. Thanks for watching, liking, and subscribing to my videos. While you're at it, come on over to my Facebook page or hit me up on Twitter. I'd love hearing about what you're working on, and I'd really like some ideas on how you would modify this little speedster. So with that said, thanks again folks, we'll see you next time.